All right, my friends, happy Friday and thanks for stopping by. Let's jump straight into the topic. Am I worried about van life becoming so popular that it gets so overcrowded and it crowds me out where I have nowhere to camp, nowhere to park overnight, anything like that? I'm not worried about it. And here's why, because it's so many people quitting van life, compared to the people starting van life. And the reason is well, you've been lied to pretty much. And I've been guilty of not showing enough negative aspects of van life, and I apologize for that. I should have been showing the hard times as much as I've shown all the happy times, but I didn't want to come across as negative. But we got to keep it real, and we got to talk about how difficult it can be in the summer. It's sweltering hot. You're going to be miserable unless you're in a really great climate, high altitude, um, in the mountains, on the coast where there's a breeze, something like that. And that's where everybody goes. And that's where crowding is an issue. But it's usually in the summer. And that's, from what I've seen, is when most people give it up in the summer because the summer's terrible. You know how hot a car gets when you leave it out in a parking lot? Well, that's how hot you're going to be. So the best thing you can do is do your best to, go to high elevation or equip your van with some kind of air conditioner and just go live at a campground. But then you're going to have to pay campground fees and electrical hookup fees and all that. And it's going to cost you a lot. It's going to end up being like $30 to $40 a day for that spot. And that kind of defeats the purpose of van life, because van life's all about, not paying a mortgage, not paying a rent, kind of sticking it to the man kind of thing. But it can be brutal in the summer. Now, the winter, it's not so hard to heat the van. In the winter, the problem is you're cooped up in it a lot because you got to think sunsets before 6 p.m. in the winter, and you're going to spend 12 hours of the time at the time in your van. That could bring on some mental issues. So that brings me to the next topic. Are you mentally prepared for van life? You're going to spend a lot of time alone. That can have a huge negative effect on you. If you're naturally an introvert, maybe not so bad. I am naturally introverted to a point where I do okay one-on-one with people, and I do okay in really large crowds because, I used to play on stage in front of large crowds. But it's the medium-sized crowds, like, I don't know, 10 people. I have real bad anxiety in those medium-sized crowds. So, the mental effects you'll have just living in your van, and if you're in the city, you may feel like you're being chased around, from place to place, just trying to find a good place to park overnight. And you may get chased off, by the local police, or city ordinances may prevent you from parking in places that are safe and you feel safe. And then you end up having to go to a really bad place to park overnight. Then you can't sleep because you're worried of crime or somebody breaking into your van. And I don't think anybody's addressed that. City van life is the toughest. If you've watched me for years, I did it for 3 years, working a full-time job, living in this van. And every night I'd have to go find somewhere to park. Now, at the very end of that, I found out that I could park at work, which I didn't know for the first 2 years, until I came clean to my boss and told him what I'm doing. And then he said, why don't you just park here at the office? So I'm like, cool, So, and then I did a lot of house sitting gigs too, that for weeks at the time. You may remember those videos. So I didn't have to just sleep on the street every night. But that can really wear on a person. You know, if you have to, you say you're used to parking at a local department store, and all of a sudden they put up the no parking signs, and then what do? You got to go park on the side of the street somewhere. So all of that is very taxing on the psyche. It's mentally exhausting. So I think it's a great idea just to have a talk like this. There's a lot of people every day thinking about starting van life. I get comments all the time from you guys saying, I can't wait till I get my van and I can hit the road. Yeah, that sounds great. But when you're on your first trip, where are you going to park at night? Where are you going to sleep? Are you going to, have a safe place to stay? So keep that in mind. Think it out. Because if you don't, you'll be like what's going around right now is there is a lot of people quitting it, And you can find some really good deals on camper vans right now because people just had an idea in their mind that it's going to be much more glamorous than it really is. Much more glamorous. I'm trying to stay with the happy videos, but I just feel like I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't talk about this. Now, with that all being said, am I generally happy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I have any plans to stop this van lifestyle? Nope. I've never really been one to go by 10-year plans or 5-year plans. Usually I stick to a 1 or 2 year plan, and that's what I did with this. When I started van life, I committed to a year. No matter what, I was going to stick it out for a year. Year 1 came and went. I started, had the hang of things by then. So I thought, yeah, we'll do it another year, and we'll do it another year. Well, coming up next month will be my 2-year anniversary, full-time nomad on the road. And let's see, in January will be 5 years full-time living in my van. And there's been very few times that I got a hotel room, very few. And 99.9% of the nights I'm sleeping right back there. Oh, check out the new axe. Hope you saw me breaking it in the other day. I was not very good in that video, but I didn't really warm up or anything either. But I love that guitar. It's pretty cheap, and I can't keep an expensive instrument here in the van because, like I said, the temperature is just all over the place. It's really hot, it's really cold, and that'll ruin a guitar. So over time, it'll ruin that one probably. But that one's cheap, and I can get another one just like it in a couple of years when it's too warped to play. I'll just get another one. So if you play an instrument, please don't have an expensive instrument you travel with, because you will ruin it with the fluctuating climate. So, not trying to come across as negative Ned, but it's good that you see videos like this, to put it in the back of your mind that it can be a struggle. And if you decide to give up van life, hey, that's your business, But I do like to encourage people. Try to give them tips along the way. That's why, periodically I'll put out places you can go camp videos, and I show you the map, how to get there. Just trying to help, And but I'm not worried about it overcrowding. The summer is going to be crowded, but that's just from families out camping, kids are out of school. It was really at times difficult to find a good camp spot in the summer. That's just the way it's always been, the way it always will be. But the kids are back in school now, and from this point on up until spring break of next year, it'll be a smooth sailing. It'll be no problem finding a decent campsite. But I feel for you guys doing city van life. I did it. 3 years and I don't ever want to do it again. Now, I wouldn't have a problem going back to the city, you know, to go see the sights, take in some shows, stuff like that, park on the street for a few nights. Wouldn't be bad, but doing it every night again, like I did for 3 years, no way, not for me. If I had the option to start van life knowing that it would be in the city full time, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it again. Are you shocked to hear me say that? I would not do full-time city van dwelling. Not again. Looking back, I don't know how I did it. I have changed so much since those days that I've become accustomed to the wide open spaces and the outdoors and the camping, and it's just so much easier. You know, I hear an ATV. You hear that? Must be Friday. They'll be here. They'll pack it in until Sunday evening, and then they all kind of pack it up and go home. So I really enjoy my Mondays through Thursdays out in the forest. It's so calm, so peaceful. And when you get accustomed to those things, you know, it's hard to go back to the hustle and bustle and the noise and the pollution of the city. So I'm not worried about it getting overcrowded, because everybody has a different comfort level, and people will try van life. They'll find out, you know, it might just be too difficult for you. And if you give it up, hey, you know, that's fine. It's whatever you want to do. But just to try to take this into consideration, I guess. I am glad you stopped by. Until next time, take care, be well, and smash the bell.